We are here at the RBC with over 1,000 survivors, cultural workers, frontline workers, intergenerational survivors, people that are completely interested in learning about trauma, the effects of trauma, especially the impacts to intergenerational survivors. So this forum here, this platform, we're giving them a platform. I'm hoping that the impact will resonate, what they could do for trauma, how they could start looking inside themselves as opposed to externally, which is what has happened to our people. A lot of our survivors have come from a place of hurt and pain and loss and abandonment, and I'm hoping that they're going to walk away from here with tools that they will need to go back to their community, to help their community, to talk to their children, and especially to help themselves.
I'm a residential school survivor. I was picked up in 1958, and I didn't return to my community till into the 70s. Events like today, whether they're national, provincial, local, or within our own tribal council areas, are very important. The space that's created by residential school survivors is the safest space that I have been able to find in my life. It's a space that borders on ethical space, where we're all a bunch of older people who lived traumatic childhoods. And the safe space we have encountered in being with one another is beyond description. For most of us, this is the only place we feel okay and safe without having to explain and tell a story of how we were traumatized. We go on our own free will. We're not being hauled here. And we come here to seek wellness amongst one another.
We have attracted everyone across our nation because of us being in isolation over the pandemic, how it isolated us, how we weren't able to see our families. I felt that it would be a good idea that we hold this type of gathering so that we could come together, so that we could talk about what we went through, and our people need to come together because we are extended family. We are not used to not seeing one another, and I felt it was necessary to have this type of healing on a national scale for survivors across Canada.
This is a Canadian issue, and it's sometimes the denial of the colonial society that created this horrible experiment that went wrong in Canadian history is today not embraced by Canadian society, but the status quo of what's going on with the original peoples of this land is also not anything what it should be. We are an economic resource in justice, in health, and education, and that's never acknowledged. So public education in regards to this, Canada's darkest secret, is very important. And you can talk reconciliation all we want, it's not going to happen. It's tokenism and paternalism until the truth is dealt with and real change happens other than just talk.
There is strength in numbers. It's important that we come together, that we know that we can support one another, count on one another, that we are there for each other.
We have inherited a responsibility to solidify our base to assist in public education and understanding. Whether we like it or not, that's our role. Because we're not going to live to see the day that true reconciliation is happening. Not when people are so afraid to deal with the truth.
I hope that it's going to resonate how we can look at ourselves to heal from the inside out, to realize that trauma is not something that happens to you, it's something that's happening inside of you. And I hope that it certainly resonated with myself. I am a survivor, a third generational survivor, and it has impacted me, and I'm going to walk away from here with a different lens on how I can heal me.